it wasn't that I didn't believe in God. I just didn't see how he'd be willing to help me, like, knowing that I just cold-bloodedly killed this dude,
Welcome to This is Dirt Under Nails Gospel. Boots on the ground, voice from the gravel. No filters, no fame, just fire and scars. Speaking so from life's real wars. We don't preach, we bleed. We don't pose, we need spirit in the smoke, truth in the bone. Welcome to the Jimmy Hester Podcast. Welcome home.
Hey, this is the Jim Hester Podcast, and I am your host, Jim Hester. I'm here with a brother I met up at Priest Lake when I've been working up here. He's a guy that I find his story to be very inspiring. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Hi, my name is Ezra Jensen. I'm 40 years old. So let's see a little bit about myself, about my story, I guess. I grew up in a broken home. Father died when I was just a baby. My mom was a heroin addict. So she was in the bike community, biker, like stuff like that. And so that's pretty much what I grew up around, like bikers and that type of lifestyle. My mom sold a lot of drugs, and for a lot of years the cops tried catching her. Finally, they were able to pin a case on her when I was about 8 years old, and that's when I didn't really have any family that was willing to take me and my sister at the time. So we ended up in foster homes, and me being defiant little asshole that I was, wanting back my mom and everything, I would take my sister and I'd run away with her. So I was like 7 years old on the streets with my, so I was 7, so I'm 3 years older than my sister. So she was like 4 at the time. And I was trying to take care of my baby sister on the streets, and sometimes I'd last a week, sometimes it'd last a month before they found us and put us in a different foster home. And this continued for quite a few years. Finally, they split us up and they put me in a group up here in Newport called Penrith Farms with a guy named Jim Brewster and his wife Sherry. And it was the first time I ever, at that point, that I felt like it wasn't just quite a paycheck, but me being an ass, I still ran away. But Jim would find me and be like, "Hey, you ready to come home?" He, instead of all the other foster homes I'd been at where, like, first sign of trouble, there was like, shit, can me, get rid of me. Jim and Sherry, they didn't do that to me.
That's cool.
So I spent quite a bit of my life there. I started smoking weed stuff while I was there. Towards me getting to my late teens, I ran away again. I was pretty much on the streets. I learned how to cook meth, running around the woods with all the little Idaho boys up here, cooking meth, selling it. I found out my mom was getting out of prison. So I just happened to find somebody that was going that way, and in the middle of the night, in a blizzard, made it there by the morning because my aunt was telling me that if I didn't make it there, she was going to track me down and beat my ass, which I have all faith that she could do that. Typical woman,
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Their mindset to something.
Yep.
At first, me and my mom did not get along. We were so much like each other, even though I hadn't seen her or really even talked to her since I was like 7 years old. We were so much alike, we just butted heads hella bad. And me being who I was and high on drugs, and her being sober, like, I took it as my duty to, like, make sure that I wasn't going to lose my mom again. So anytime there was, like, people around her that was getting high or whatever, like, the psychotic side of me came out, and, like, I'd kick in my mom's door and drag them out, pistol to their head, threatening them, like,
that protective side kid.
Yeah, real, like, everybody thought I was batshit crazy, pretty much. Ended up calming down a little bit after a little while. I was still pretty young. I was still about 17. I met this girl named Jessica. I ended up getting her pregnant, and I had a burglary charge sitting over my head from Idaho from me and my cousin feuding, and like he kicked a bunch of dents in my car. So I went out to his car one day and I just ripped his whole stereo out of his Jeep, and his girlfriend ended up calling the cops, and they charged me as an adult for a burglary. So I had warrants sitting over my head after I found out Jessica was pregnant. So I turned myself in. I was pretty excited I was going to be a dad. Like I wanted to be there for it, so I figured I better get, whatever they were going to do to me out of the way. I ended up getting sentenced to 1 to 5 year sentence. I ended up having to go down to Boise for a year. I spent it was a little over a year before they paroled me, actually. But during that time, my girlfriend Jessica had a miscarriage. And everybody at the time, it got like real hush hush. Like nobody wanted to tell me like what happened. Like there was clearly something that happened, but nobody wanted to tell me what it was. So I ended up getting out. I was not almost 19. I got out of prison in Idaho. I was out like 9 days, 8 or 9 days, when I finally I cornered her cousin, and I was like, "Look, you're gonna tell me what the hell happened."
Yeah.
Like I'm tired of everybody being hush hush. Nobody wants to tell me what happened. You know what I'm saying? And she ended up telling me that this guy Craig had pretty much drugged Jessica and raped her, and then when she tried to leave, he beat her up, and in return, that was what caused the miscarriage. So about 11 days out at this point, I hear dudes looking for a pound of dope. So I'm like, all right, hit him up. I'm like, hey, heard you're looking for dope. And he's like, yeah. I'm like, I got you. And I'm in Spokane at the time, and I got this guy Chris with me, and I'm like, and I have him show up and hop in the truck. Me and Chris hop in the truck with him, and we're driving down the road. And I mean, first of all, I never went there with like the intention to like kill him. I went there with the intention to maim him, like so that every day he woke up and there was something really seriously fucked up with him.
That you remember he did.
That he had to remember why he was like that. You know what I'm saying? But it was like the best way to explain it was like an out of body experience, because we were all sitting in the truck, and I just remember pulling. It was like I was outside my body watching it all go down. I remember pulling the gun out of my pocket and just putting it to his head, and just he was gone. Like, and it's crazy because like when people say the eyes are the windows of the soul, it's dead. I'm telling you, it's the truth, because he went from having that spark of life in his eyes to just opaque eyes. So hey, that was at that point I was like, oh crap, I really just did this.
You're in it now.
Yeah, I'm in it now. So I ended up, and he was driving at the time, so the truck swerves all over the road. I ended up having to, gain control of the truck and pretty much kind of climb over the top of him and stuffed him on the floorboard. And drove him out to Newman Lake, and I ended up putting a pretty big brush pile I just happened to come across, and lighting it on fire and driving off in his truck. I was out about 50 days before they caught me, due to Chris, running around thinking he was cool for being involved in murder. And as soon as they got him, he told them everything. So they were able to come arrest me. And there I sat in Spokane County for first-degree premeditated murder for 29 months. At that point, I would say I was pretty scared.
Yeah.
I was like,
Understand?
I'm never gonna see. If I do see the outside of a jail cell at this point, I'm gonna be so old. Like, I'm never gonna be able to have a life, pretty much. And so after paying my attorney $70,000 and still all the way up to trial, them pretty much not being willing to offer me a deal, pretty much, you know what I'm saying? Like, I finally, like, a week before.
And how much were they putting over your head at that point in time?
45 years with a 5-year weapon enhancement, so 50 years.
50 years, holy shit.
Yeah, and I'd have had to do the 5-year weapon enhancement before my time even started, and then I would have got like a fifth or a tenth off of the 45 years.
Mm.
So off of like 45 years, I would have got, it'd be like a month a year, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it wouldn't have been much. I'd have still done 45 years. Pretty much, yeah. And so I'd had this pastor coming around always to my door, and he was persistent too. And I was like, it wasn't that I didn't believe in God. I just didn't see how he'd be willing to help me, like, you know, knowing that I just cold-bloodedly killed this dude, you know, like. But I decided I was like, look, God, if you help me here, like, I'll spend my life trying to help people, you know. And like, so I fasted for a week, and 2 days before trial, they came and offered me a deal, no weapon enhancement in 15 years, second-degree felony murder. And it was like a huge weight was lifted off my shoulders.
Even at 15 years.
Yeah, because I mean, I was looking at 50 no matter what.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, and I was like, 15 years, man, that puts me out when I'm like in my 30s.
Mm-hmm.
Still gives me an opportunity to try to do something with myself. And I would like to say that I stayed, you know, devoted to the Bible and all that type of stuff in prison, but, you know, politics and stuff gets in the way, and a lot of time in prison, like, you know, sex offenders or the, you know, people that the lesser I, well, that's where they congregate, you know what I'm saying?
Sure.
Church, because they're safe there, you know.
Yep.
So I didn't do too much reading in my Bible and all that type of stuff. I got out after my 15 years. I did 14, just under 14 years of it. I got out. I was 35 years old, and
that's a long time. Yeah, that's a long time, brother.
And so I was doing really well at first. I was working 2 jobs. I was working at Travis Pattern, which is an aluminum brass foundry in Spokane,
mm-hmm.
and Jack in the Box, which I was feeling like I was even lucky to get that job, because coming into work release, like, I was so institutionalized, like, it took them a month to get me to leave the building, just because everything, like, all the colors were so bright and all the cars were, like, just so fast. I was like, it just tripped me out.
People everywhere that weren't, you know.
Yeah, and everybody's walking around with, like, a personal computer in their hands.
You're like, what the hell is this?
Yeah, like, when I went, it was like, how small can we get the phones? You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
And then I get out and everybody's got a computer in their hand. You know, like,
yeah.
I remember the old dial-up internet connection. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what I was used to.
Life had changed.
Yeah, life had changed drastically.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, like, the Spokane that I knew, it was completely different.
Yeah, I bet.
You know, it took me a couple months of riding the bus, just to realize, like, oh, that place used to be that place, and all this, you know, like, I was trying to think, like, all this was empty pretty much in places, and I was like, so it was a trip to have to, like, pretty much relearn.
New buildings everywhere, places where there are trees, there ain't no trees, and now there's buildings, places.
It was a trip.
Hey everybody, this episode is brought to you by Northern Lakes Tree Service in Priest Lake, Idaho. Damon Bretthauer is not just my sponsor, but he's actually been one of my closest friends for over 30 years. I've seen him firsthand show up in life and in his work with integrity, care, and a deep sense of responsibility. He's not out there cutting corners. He's actually setting the bar, whether it's low impact tree removal, pruning, danger tree removal, or keeping the land healthy. He and his crew always go the extra mile. Damon Bretthauer and Shiloh Roberts, who also have been my friend for years, run Crown Jewel Boat Rentals. They have jet skis, they have boats, they have pontoon boats, they even have snowmobiles for the winter. Whatever the weather, they got you covered. I can't say enough good things about them. Whatever your needs, they'll take great care of you. So to Damon, Shiloh, and the whole crew, Thank you. I'm super proud to have you guys support for the Jimmy Hester podcast. Much love and respect.
So everything changed drastically. And like even like anxiety, just simple everyday things for anybody else, like going to Walmart was a chore for me. Like first time I walked into Walmart, I just happened to have my brother in work release with me. And so he was like, "Come on, we're going to Walmart to get hygiene, shampoo, detergent, laundry soap and stuff like that." And like I walked in and everything just like went to a pinpoint and I couldn't breathe.
Kind of closed in on you.
Yeah. So I froze. I was like, here's my money. Take it.
Just get something for me.
You know what I need? I'm back. I got to go outside pretty much. So like the world had changed drastically in all that time. And I just happened to have a buddy who brother was I guess like be like the second in command, I guess, vice president for the Jack in the Boxes. And so his brother had talked to him about me, and he was like, "Yeah, I'll give him a job."
Cool.
So I go down there, and and like he asked me a little bit about my charges and stuff. I tell him, and he's got like some shock to his face, but he's like, "All right, I'm still going to give you a chance." You know what I'm saying? Which probably was one of the best things that happened to me because I wasn't used to talking to people, and they still like all the girls there. And after I told them like why I'd been to prison, they absolutely all loved me, which is awesome. And then, like getting to talk to people, I would push myself out of my comfort zone and like go and make sure everybody, like all the old people that come in that were like regulars for their coffee or
take care of them.
Just come in there and talk to them or just ask them how they're doing, and and then that turned into talking to there was an old couple that were just having big issues with their son, drug addict, in and out of jail, and like talking to me like helped them understand like because where their son couldn't sit down and talk to him.
You already been there.
I'd already been there, and I was like, "Look, this is probably what he's going through."
Yeah, it's good.
And so they were like, they decided, because they were at their point of just giving up on him. Yeah. But I was like, "Don't do it." I told them time and time, "Don't do it. He needs you guys."
That's cool.
Your love is what's going to end up saving him.
Yeah.
And then after a while, they would come around and they'd be like, "Hey, our son, he's sober. He's a this and that." You know what I'm saying? Like
you were helping people before you even started helping people.
Well, yeah, that was the start of me deciding I wanted to help people.
Hell yeah.
And then so I was still working. I had on my way to work one day. I got in a bad car accident, and I decided like I don't want to work right now. Like I want to spend all the time I can with life's too short type of thing,
Yeah, because all that time you're away, you didn't get to see anybody like that.
Yeah, and like I was like I had a girlfriend, stepdaughter, stepson, and like I was like I just want to build this family. Like I don't want to work. I want to spend all the time I can with them, which worked out for a while until I ran into a friend and he decided that he was going to hand me 5 pounds of meth and like 15 pieces of dark, because I was broke, and I ended up getting back into selling drugs, and my relationship went downhill from there. I ended up back in prison for stolen truck that they caught me in possession of, and ended up having to do a year. And I, at this time, like my pretty much I had no family at this point. I mean, like my girlfriend, like mentally she was done with me. Not, I guess, not in the heart she wasn't, but at the time, so I got out pretty much to nothing. And in the first like 17 months, I went back. First of all, I went back to using drugs, and in the first 17 months, I lost like 12 people that were close to me. Started out with 2 of my brothers being murdered, and a couple of my friends overdosing, like closest friends, and then my street dad died. My foster dad died, Jim, and then like 5 or 6 of my just closest friends that I like, they were like brothers to me pretty much, all died. And at that point, I was lost. Like, didn't know up from down, didn't really care.
Yeah.
So I just started putting as much meth up my arm as I could, pretty much, and ended up overdosing on some fentanyl, or some meth. It was laced with fentanyl, I should say. I was dead for 15 minutes. Luckily, my sister and people at our house were able to bring me back. But it didn't stop me from getting high. I left my sister's and came back to Spokane because I was in Lucin at the time. And I was living on the streets of Spokane, bouncing around. You know, when I had a car, it was good. When I didn't, you know, because I go to jail and my car would get peeled and stripped and this and that, and all my clothes gone. So I'd do a 20-day violation, get out to absolutely nothing again. You know, start all over. Finally, one day, I woke up and I was just kind of disgusted with how everything was, you know?
Yeah.
I was like, I can't do this no more. And I figured, like, if I was a disappointment to my mom and everything before she passed away, like, I refused to be that way anymore. So I ended up getting myself sober. Was still living on the streets, and ended up getting arrested, which was probably God saving me at the time. And I ended up in Newport jail, where I met Damon and Albert as chaplains. And Damon, he likes to bring in his computer and share videos.
Yeah.
You know, so like, I'd already kind of been reading my Bible and stuff and praying, you know, just asking for understanding more than anything. And he'd bring in these videos of Todd White.
Todd's the man, yeah.
And Dan Moeller, and like,
yep.
I don't know, just something about the videos just made my insides burn, dude. Like, I was out on fire. Like, I wanted to know Jesus. I wanted to be able to help people. I wanted to be able to tell people about God, you know, without clamming up or whatever, you know. So I got into the videos, and when it came time to get out, Damon and Albert asked me what I was doing. I pretty much didn't know what I was going to do. And apparently Damon and Albert had seen something in me that I didn't quite see in myself at the time. Potential, I guess.
Yeah.
And so Damon gave me a place to live and helped me do something with myself a bit bigger than myself. You know, and so when I got out, the funny thing is, like, I told him, I said, I'm going to go see Todd White and Dan Moeller someday, right? And like a month after I got out, he was like, they're in Texas next month or whatever it was, you know what I'm saying? He's like, do you want to go see him? And I was like, hell yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
There's a bear shit in the woods, you know what I'm saying? Like, let's do this, right?
Yeah.
Hey, so they were all flying down there. I had no license. Hey, couldn't get my ID yet at the time. Like, I was still just trying to piece everything together.
Yeah.
You know, we do a good job of destroying our lives. It takes a while to put it back together.
Yeah. Like my counselor said before, he was like, man, it took you a while to walk into that cave. You're going to take a little while to walk out.
Yeah.
So don't get discouraged. Just keep on keeping on. Is what I was telling me.
So Damon, it probably against his better judgment, he's like, here's the keys to my truck. Here's gas money. Get there, pretty much.
Meet us down there.
Yeah, meet us down there. So me and another guy was like, hopped in the truck, and I got all jacked up off of Love's Coffee. Love's Coffee, which is the good stuff.
Yeah.
And I pretty much drove all the way to Texas one shot.
Wow.
You know, like,
how long did it take you to get down there?
19 hours.
Oof, man. Just stop to take a leak.
It was 1,900 miles, I think it was. So it was like,
wow.
Yeah. I remember my buddy, like, I drank my first cup of coffee from Love's. The clerk was like, you're an asshole. He's like, he's never had Love's Coffee before. He's like, no. He's like, you're an asshole. What are you doing to him, pretty much? I don't think I blinked for about 400 miles.
I know what you're saying, man. Yep.
You know, I made it all the way to Dallas before I couldn't do it no more. And we were going to Fort Worth. Made it all but like 45 minutes of it. And sitting down there, it was like seeing Todd White and Dan Muller on stage was amazing. I ended up going out and doing some outreach and come back. And then, of course, they want outreach stories, you know what I'm saying? So Damon and all them pushed me up on stage. So here I am, this fat guy up on stage, very first, in a bright pink shirt with a teddy bear on it, you know, telling my story about some outreach. And so it was pretty cool though. Like it was like first time I like felt really at ease and comfortable. I mean, even though it was hard being up there in front of like 2,000 people on stage, you know, I got to meet Dan Muller and Todd White.
Right on, man.
Which was badass. And I got to tell Todd White about my story a little bit and how his videos kind of lit a fire in my heart. I used to want to help people, and so he was like, hell yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like he was pretty excited about it. And so I get back and I'm like, now I got to try to put this into work, like helping people, like try to figure out what my ministry is at this point, and more like, you know, I know it's not going to be much at this point, but it's going to grow. It's going to turn into something.
Yes.
So I started just anytime I go to Spokane, I'd swing by the trap houses when I'm by myself. I'd swing by the trap houses and be like, what's up? Who wants to get sober?
Yeah.
Like, look at me, I'm sober.
And they're probably like tripping, huh?
Yeah, they were tripping. They were like, what the hell? I'm so proud of you.
Hell yeah.
You know, but, you know, they weren't ready yet. But
they could see God in you even if they weren't ready themselves, huh?
Yeah. Well, the thing is I wanted to show them that somebody cared.
Yeah, that's good. Give them that love with nobody else.
Yeah, I was like, I'm here for you. Hey, and it just played like that for a while. And then finally, like the first time I really got to help somebody and like feel God's like love on me, be like, all right, you got one, you know what I'm saying? Like the first one, my friend, and she called me, she was sitting in jail, and I'd been working on it for a while. Like she wanted to get sober, but she just like, it was never the right time. There was always an excuse, kind of.
Sure.
You know, but finally she ended up in jail. She called me and she's like, I'm done. I want to get in treatment, but I don't have anybody that can help me with the funds to get into the treatment I want. So I was like, how much of it? How much is it? You know what I'm saying? She tells me, and I'm like, all right, I got you. I don't even care. You know what I'm saying?
We'll figure it out.
I'm going to figure it out. So, of course, me being broke most of the time, because I give away most of my money a lot of the time, or I spend it on people, and I go and talk to him, and not even before we're done with the conversation, his phone rings. And it's a lady up here at the lake that needed somebody to drive a U-Haul from here to Atlanta, Georgia.
Wow, that's a long ways.
Yeah. And so Damon's like, well, yeah, I got a perfect guy that can do it. You know what I'm saying? And by this time, I'd gotten my license and all this type of stuff. But
that must make you feel good, too, because you're like, oh, man, this dude is helping me. He trusts me and believes me, and he'll even refer me to somebody that he knows.
Yeah. So I go with this lady to go rent the U-Haul, and like I figure like if she's gonna pay me to do something, like she should know who I have the obligation to let her know who she's hiring. Mm-hmm. My past, this and that, you know what I'm saying? So I tell her, and like by the time we get there, she's in tears. She's like, this was meant to be. This is a godsend. Like, and I told her why I was needing the money, you know, it was to get my friend of mine into treatment. So like she's like, and I was still on probation at the time, you know. So I tried calling my probation officer, couldn't get a hold of him. So I left a message with him telling him what I was going to do. And I just decided, like, if there's going to be consequences, I'll deal with it when I get it back.
Yep, there you go.
This is what it is.
Trust God on it.
Yeah, and and she's like, no, I want your probation officer's number. She's like, I'm calling him and telling him what a godsend you are, what a blessing you are.
That's cool, bro.
And try to make sure that you're not going to be getting in any trouble.
Yeah.
And So driving down there, I happened to stop outside of St. Louis, take a nap, and my phone rings. My probation officer.
How'd that make you feel?
A little scared.
Yeah, of course.
I was like, oh great, here we go.
Yeah.
He's like, so where are you at? And I'm like, St. Louis. He's like, no, you're all right. He's like, appreciate you leaving me the message. He said, this is what I want you to do when you get back, though. And as soon as you get back, I want you to come give me UA.
Yeah.
And I was like, done.
No problem.
Yeah, I'm sober. I'm good. I'm done, right? So I show up and give me his UA after I'm done. Pick off the plane and everything. Coming back. And at that point, like, there was definitely, like, he'd already been willing to work with me, even though I didn't expect him to, because I'd given the dude hell already. I'd given him every excuse in the book, disappeared on him every time that I wasn't supposed to. He chased me all over the countryside, for years. I turned a 3-year probation into 7 at that, dang near 5, 6 at the time, I guess. And he's at that point, he just started having hella faith in me that I was going to continue to do the right thing.
Because you kept your word.
Yeah.
Yep.
And so I ended up driving another U-Haul for one of the ladies' friends from up here at Priest Lake after that to Arkansas. Made some more money. And the cool thing about it was, like, Damon recognized, like, apparently this is what God wants. Like, he's like, you save your money for a car. He's like, I got your friend the money for treatment. You know what I'm saying?
Nice.
When you get back, I'll give it to you. You can take it up there and pay him, I was like, so that was like a huge blessing. It was like God was like, just stay faithful to what it is, and I got you, pretty much. It was like how I took it, and I was like, cool.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, like, that's one thing like my car just recently blew up a couple months ago, and like I just normally I'd have tripped out. But I'm like stuck somewhere. I'd have felt trapped. I've been like, screw this. I'm going to get drugs. Have 3 cars, like type of thing. But like it didn't even bother me. Like when it blew up, I was like, it is what it is. Like I just was completely at peace. Like I know here shortly I'll get another one. It's it's already, I've already been told, I got some help getting me another one because of how my ministry has grown. Like today, well, not today, but up to this point, I've helped multiple people get into treatments. I part of what I do for Damon, because he helps out a lot of guys coming out of jail, treatments. Like I'm the guy who makes sure they get wherever they need to go to, whether it's probation, court, anything involving like helping them get their life put back together, driver's license, this, that. Hey, I take care of, doctor's appointments, court dates all the way across the United States.
That's cool.
Just whatever, like, and then on top of that, like my probation officer, or my ex-probation officer, my old probation officer, he's got mad faith in me now. Like the people on his caseload, he's like, that he knows that know me, like, go hang out with Ezra.
That's cool, man.
He's doing amazing. Like, he'll help you in any way. Like I've gone down there and gone to bat for people that were on his caseload, and he's like, he just pretty much hands them over to me. He's like, oh, you're gonna help him get into this treatment or that treatment? Take him.
Or good.
And then he'll check up on me like, hey, how's so and so doing? Great, they're on your caseload. Like, what, you don't know? He's like, I left him to you. I left him to your hands.
That's awesome.
Which is pretty awesome.
Yeah.
And so
God's doing big things in you, man.
Well, he's helping me pave the road to big things.
And he's using you in big ways, man.
Yeah,
I love this story. And then you have a vision for your future.
Well, due to my medical issues and this and that, like, I don't get to work with all the other guys, so a lot of my stuff is like making sure people are where they need to be
taken care of.
Love. Taking care, showing people love, like make sure I go get, somebody out here that's going to treatment doesn't have a safe way to get there.
Mm-hmm.
I go get them. I take them out. I buy them clothes. Feed them. Just anything I can do to show them that people give a shit about their sobriety.
Yeah,
and that they got support. Like, just because I take you and drop you off for treatment doesn't mean I'm not going to still be there for you. Hey, whatever you need, call.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I got you. You need some money for the vending machines? Whatever. I got you. You need Bible? You need stamps? You need just whatever. You need clothes? You need that? Let me know. I'll go get it and bring it down. You know what I'm saying? You just focus on nothing but your treatment or whatever.
Yeah.
And like that, I've been able to be quite a blessing to people that way, which is huge to me because it just drives me to continue to want to, like, seeing them succeed.
Yeah.
Like, it just pushes me to want to continue to keep doing it. I know not everybody's going to succeed.
Yeah, of course.
I've had a couple.
But you keep on, right?
Yeah.
Because we don't know who's going to succeed and who's going to fail. Well, and even if they fail, they might not fail the second time, or, we just keep trying.
I just consider it like planting a seed.
Yeah.
Planting a seed in them, letting them know people care. I know how many times I screwed up.
Me too. Me too. I get it.
So, yeah. I'm involved in hopefully starting a treatment facility.
Mm-hmm.
The Hiawatha Foundation with a buddy of mine, Johnny. And we'd kind of talked about it like a goal kind of together, but he's kind of taking the bull by the horns, like when it comes to the paperwork side of it. Like I guess in paperwork he'd be like the director.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like on paper, I'm the transportation specialist, like transportation director.
Yeah, doing what you're doing now.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Loving on people, getting people where they got to go, just stuff like that. And
you remind me of the scripture that says, "He who has been forgiven much loves much," and the fact that in the story that you're living proof. Ezra is living proof that no matter what you go through, God's love will never stop. He always is going to continue to pursue you, going to restore you, going to love you, and give an opportunity for you to do the same for others.
Oh yeah, so getting out of prisons. One thing so I got with my girlfriend Keisha, and she had a 6-year-old daughter, and I was like, she terrified me, like just like she was affectionate, you know what I'm saying? And I wasn't used to affection.
Sure.
And I was like, it was like one of them God opening your eyes, like the innocence of a child. Like it was like, because it says like in the Bible that God's love is like the innocence of a child, because that's love, the love of God.
Perfect love, yeah.
I'm like, here this little 6-year-old girl is like just latching on to me all the time, and I'm just like freeze. I'm like, but it took a while before like I got comfortable with it. And like,
but that innocence was able to do something in you that no other person probably could have.
Never.
Especially not in another adult. No matter how much they loved you, it's not the same as a child.
Exactly. So that was the first like real understanding of what God's love was.
That's cool.
To me. Like, so like, I talk to people and they, we talk about the Bible. I'm like churches don't matter. I mean, yeah, go to church.
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
But churches have done horrible things. The name of horrible things have been done in the name of Christianity and any other religion. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
Like,
but Jesus is different.
Having a relationship with Jesus is completely different.
Yeah.
So, and when it comes to that, like, when it comes to what we're here to do, we're here to love on people.
Mm-hmm.
Like, plain and simple. We're not like, we're here to show people we care and love on them.
Yeah.
Not give up on them.
I love it.
So that's kind of how I live each and every moment. It is like, I look at my life as like, each day I wake up, like I'm meant to be a blessing to somebody.
Mm-hmm.
Like not necessarily that I am a blessing, but I'm meant to try to help somebody.
And your life is an example, and you can reach into places where nobody else can even even come close to reaching into people's lives, speaking to them, loving on them, taking them out, helping them get into rehab, all these different things. Other people couldn't do it the same way you did. You're chosen for a specific purpose, bro.
Oh, I totally believe that every bit of darkness and like fear and just everything that I've gone through that has shaped who I am, like I've meant to go through it, because not much can shock me, and I can relate to people. So I just feel like God purposely had me go through it, even though like it was my own actions.
Yes,
but
I get what you're saying.
God's Almighty, He could have been like that, and I could have been on no time at all. But I was meant to go through everything I've been meant to go through so that I can love on people the way that I love on people.
I love it, brother. Hey, I appreciate you sharing your story. And before we end, is there anything that you would like to say to the people, encourage them?
Yeah, just be kind. Kindness is free. You know what I'm saying? To love on people is free. Hey, to give somebody on the road $5 just because you have it, hey, it could save their life.
Yeah.
Hey, or buying them a meal or whatever, just letting people know that there are people that care or that they're enough is what really matters, man.
Right on, man.
It's, even just, tell them God bless you or that they're enough.
Just acknowledge them some kind of way, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good, man.
I mean, you never know. You never know just who's ready to put that gun in their mouth and just somebody's being like, hey, man, God loves you.
Yep.
And just passing, that might save their life.
Well, saying that, it reminds me of when I was coming down off Opes, and I had for a long time where I just felt like, that I had those cold chills come down over my back. I would be, had my snowsuit on in front of the heater and everything, and I was sweating, but like cold, and all that stuff. And it was really the only time I felt like killing myself, and because it just wouldn't stop day after day after day, just being sick and everything. And then I remember, just like you said, saying something or doing something that can change somebody's life. It was like 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the morning. And I figured, man, I just want to end it because I don't know when this feeling is. I feel like, God, you fucking left me. What's going on? And like that, somebody texts me, hey, are you up right now? And then immediately a phone call and be like, God woke me up in a dream, told me to call you. And so I feel like it is exactly what you're saying, taking the time to smile, taking the time to text, or to say a kind word or $5 could definitely change somebody's life. And I appreciate hearing your story because it's very inspiring. And if anybody out there is ever struggling for anything, man, just reach out. We're here for you. And even if it's just a prayer, we'd like to pray for you. And so, man, I'm excited to have had the opportunity to talk to you, and I'm excited that people are going to hear how God's love turned you around, brother.
Well, I appreciate it. I hope my story reaches somebody.
Yeah, it will. It will. So, man, I appreciate you, bro. Well, in ending, would you like to pray? You want me to pray?
You go ahead and pray.
Okay. Papa, we just thank you for today. We thank you for my brother. I thank you for his life. I thank you for redemption stories. I thank you, God, that you have reached into different people's lives and pulled them out of incredibly traumatic situations. And I thank you right now that how you're using Ezra to help bring people back to, into treatment and just loving them back to health. I pray that you would bless him, and I thank you for him in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
All right. Till the next one. Have a good day. Know that you're blessed and keep believing. God's got your back.